What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and it's Top 10 Thursday. There are a lot of genres of gaming that I love, from giant RPGs to classic shooters. They can all be fun, but my personal favorite is a really good horror project, something that can genuinely leave me afraid to go to sleep at night. This week we're counting down the best of the best on my picks for the top 10 scariest games ever.
Number 10. Alan Wake. Sometimes the worst part of being an author is the days you can't write. Staring at a blank page is a special kind of agony. Alan Wake has run out of ideas about what to do for his next book, so he decides to take a vacation with his wife to a small town in the mountains. Just one problem: this place is home to a darkness that takes form from the minds of artists. Using the creative powers of Wake's imagination, it takes over the city and turns everyone into shadowy monsters. Now it's up to him to become the hero of his own story or die trying. What's most creepy about this title is how all the enemies behave. They have this shaking, jittering style that almost makes it seem like these people are still alive, but being forcefully made into puppets of evil. Number 9. Rule of Rose. Set inside an abandoned orphanage in the 1930s, this game dishes out a raw kind of fear that truly doesn't exist anywhere else. When this project was first released, it was extremely controversial just for how brutal it was. We play as Jennifer, a young woman who's led into the woods by a boy, only to get caught up in the middle of a group of psychopathic children. These kids call themselves the Red Crown Aristocrats, and they're not the kind of people you want to be trapped alone with. They make Jennifer a deal. Each day she must find a specific item hidden somewhere in the house. If she brings it back to them, she gets to live, but if she fails, she'll be tortured and fed to their monstrous god. This twisted match of hide and seek is more difficult than it seems because the mansion is filled with freakish creatures that appear to be made of all the children who ever died playing games with the aristocrats. Number 8. Alien Isolation. In space, no one can hear you scream. These famous words kicked off the amazing Alien franchise over 30 years ago. This series has always been the master of capturing the pure, relentless terror of being in a deadly situation that is basically unwinnable. During this entire game, you really only face one main bad guy, but don't think that means things will be simple. Amanda Ripley came to the space station looking for answers about her missing mother. All she ends up finding is a giant, hungry xenomorph stalking the halls. Its skin is so hard bullets don't hurt it. The speed it runs is sometimes faster than the human eye can see, and if you even get touched by the alien, it can instantly kill you. Your only chance of survival is staying on the move and constantly being alert so you can duck into an air vent or quick hiding spot at a moment's notice. What this game does brilliantly is keeps you completely focused on the next goal despite the chaos. You stay scared while figuring out a puzzle, desperately searching for a key or hoping that behind the next door will finally be a way out of this madness. Number 7. System Shock 2. Imagine if one day you found yourself in a mysterious lab with no memory on how you got there. Things appear to be normal until you notice how damaged your surroundings are. It almost looks like there was a horrible war that took place here just hours before you woke up. Stepping into the hallway, you discover that anyone who used to work here has had their body mutated into disgusting zombie-like monsters. Typically in a video game, beating up thousands of enemies isn't really a big deal because there's usually a pile of weapons nearby. System Shock 2 throws this idea out the window, giving you access to very limited ammo and tools that break way too fast. This might sound pretty hard, but you rarely get a chance to complain because you're too busy just trying to make sure you're still breathing. It turns out the source of these twisted things hunting our hero down is a supercomputer called Shodan. She sees the human race as nothing more than a tiny insect in her path to greatness. Shodan is willing to slowly morph our species into screwed up toys in her quest for infinite power. Number 6. Condemned Criminal Origins. Being a police officer is a long, difficult job. You deal with dangerous suspects in harsh work environments every single day. No one knows this better than Ethan Thomas. After being called to a crime scene of a recent murder, he's soon on the trail of a serial killer who hunts other serial killers. This series of deaths isn't as straightforward as it first appears. Whoever this man is that Ethan is trying to track down, he has the strange ability to drive people insane. Using this talent, he starts breaking down the detective's mind. Throughout the game, we see odd scenes that are hard to know if they're real or fake. Mannequins come into life in a department store, birds that look to be made out of shadows, and nightmares beasts. During these events, we also have to face all the people who have already gone psycho. We can only assume that these are innocent homeless men who have been warped into savage nutcases. Every encounter in this game is incredibly scary just due to how fierce fights can be. Combat is all about trying to bash everyone around you before you're the one who ends up with his brains lying on the ground. Number 5. Dead Space. For this project, the developers secretly hid in a cabin for 6 months, watching hundreds of horror movies, reading creepy books, and generally studying what makes gamers tremble down to their bones. The final result is Dead Space, and I have to say their research definitely paid off. We take on the role of an engineer who just got called in to repair a broken ship. As his team gets closer to the vessel, they begin to detect that the situation is really bad. No one on board is responding to any of their messages, so they decide to go ahead and dock and see what needs to be fixed. As soon as they walk through the doors, it is a total bloodbath. A virus has been rampaging among the crew for the last week, turning them into ruthless killing machines. Our hero is now locked in a devastating battle against the armies of the dead and knows that he needs to find a way to destroy this ship to stop the plague from wiping out all life. Since he's just an engineer, he doesn't have guns, but instead cleverly learns to use his equipment as a means of self-defense. This genius idea may save him from being terribly shredded, that is if he doesn't just break down from dealing with such overwhelming fear first. Number 4. Resident Evil 2. Raccoon City was once a nice, quiet town. That is until the Umbrella Corporation moved in. This mega company has been experimenting with biological weaponry and ends up accidentally unleashing some on the unsuspecting members of this community. The story begins shortly after the outbreak started and follows two characters just arriving in town. Leon Kennedy and Claire Redfield may have come here for very different reasons, but now they both have the same goal. They need to get out of here by any way possible. Doing that is going to be rough because not only are zombies wreaking havoc, but several of Umbrella's other terrible creations have gotten loose as well. What I love most about Resident Evil 2 is that the game radically changes when you beat it. After downing the last boss, you can make a save file and play through a totally new second version of the city. This not only gives you deeper insight into the carnage that took place here, but also keeps you really on edge as you try and master all new paths filled with monsters. Something about wandering the streets hours after everyone else is already dead is so unnerving to the core. Even when the last ghoul is defeated, don't expect to feel any safer. Number 3. Outlast. A journalist is someone who will do anything for the truth. Dig through old files, ask hard questions, maybe even visit a hidden insane asylum up in the hills. Outlast is the kind of experience that aims to make you too terrified to close your eyes. The patients of this crazy house have escaped their cells and slaughtered the employees. These things may be human, but they're so mutilated both mentally and physically they really seem more like demons. Miles is brought here when he hears a tip that this hospital is doing dangerous and illegal tests on their subjects, but nothing can prepare him for what he sees. The biggest feature that made this so mind-bendingly dreadful to play was that you're carrying a camera at all times. To see in the dark, you need to hold this up to your face and turn on the night vision mode. While this helps a tiny bit, this is a huge drain on the power source. That means you need to stay on the lookout for batteries while also dodging the maniacs patrolling this place. Few things have ever made me more shocked than sneaking down corridors searching for clues and instead running into freakish inmates. No matter how scared you get, don't you dare blink and miss the action. Number 2. Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly. Urban legends are pretty common in any part of the world. Locals often like to come up with stories to explain random occurrences that don't make sense. In Japan, there are tales of a village that was built over the gates of hell. To keep the creatures that existed beneath them happy, each decade they would perform a special ritual where they sacrificed twins to the abyss. This task works for a while, but eventually some girls mess up the ceremony and all the residents of the town are transformed into lost souls. Skip forward to the present day and we see sisters Mayo and Mayu exploring this seemingly empty area, only to stumble into the residents' ghostly trap. Defending yourself in Fatal Frame is about truly looking death head on. Using a magical camera, you can hurt these deadly figures by stealing a part of their spirit with each photo. You don't have much film though, so you need to aim carefully to make sure every picture counts. Crimson Butterfly earns its spot on the list for how magnificently screwed up the plot is. Our twin protagonists end up having to make a very hard choice in the later half of the game. Do they perform the ritual of sacrifice and save the people of the village, or flee and leave these beings lost forever? Number 1. Silent Hill 2. James Sunderland used to go on vacation with his wife every year to celebrate their marriage, that is, until she got sick. When she passed away, he felt like he lacked purpose in life. Suddenly, he somehow receives a letter from her asking to come visit in their favorite spot, Silent Hill. Although this is clearly impossible, he has to check for himself just to make sure. Once he arrives, James discovers that it was actually the town itself that was calling him, luring him into a pit of his darkest inner demons. This game is so famous for its disturbing sense of horror, people are still discussing it and breaking it down to this very day. All the creatures we fight are various fragments of James's past, from the faceless nurses reflecting his fear of hospitals to Pyramid Head acting as a dark mirror for James's sins. Each piece of Silent Hill 2 fits into a larger puzzle. At the start, it seems like he's just a random man wandering the foggy streets, but the deeper we go, the more layers are uncovered. What gave me the worst nightmares was the incredible feeling of heavy claustrophobia they were able to convey. Walking through a pitch black tunnel and hearing the shuffling feet of monsters up ahead cuts deep into your mind. This is a project that makes you question everything you thought was real about survival horror, and for that reason, I am awarding it my pick as the absolute scariest game ever.
Did your favorite game not make the list? Got an idea for a future top 10? Leave it in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But doing the biggest favor of all, and keep dreaming. You know what? I'm totally going to cheat. Here's a bunch more games that are totally awesome. Any of the Parasite Eves are freaking fantastic. Eternal Darkness actually makes you think you're going crazy. I mean, even Fear. What the hell happened to the lights? It's a good thing I always light a candle in my office to make sure I'm extra well. Is that a ghost behind the camera? What? No! No! Oh my god, he's continuing to stab me! Oh Jesus! Just stop stabbing me! He's oh god! Oh, feel free to subscribe. Worst outtake ever. That's making the cut. I'm making that as the official take. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, maybe check out my last video. Please subscribe, and if you want, share this somewhere with your friends.